Hi. Oh my God. If you are trying to eat healthier and you're super overwhelmed and you don't know how to funnel through all the random rules you're hearing on the internet from some health coach or personal trainer, I'm Gabrielle and I'm here to help you and make it a lot less stressful for you. The biggest thing that has helped me understand nutrition and helped my patients understand nutrition is focusing on two things: protein and fiber at every single meal and every single snack. Protein and fiber are gonna help you feel more satisfied for longer, so you're not eating a meal and then digging through the pantry 20 minutes later because you're just feeling not satisfied. There's truly nothing worse than eating a meal and being like, oh my God, I don't feel satisfied at all. And I don't want you to do that to yourself because it's a weird feeling. And if you make sure you're getting adequate amounts of protein and fiber at every meal, you're preventing that feeling from happening. What's adequate? That's a little hard without knowing your actual nutrition needs, but generally at least 30 grams of protein, and this could be a stretch, but if you've been watching my videos, I feel like you can do this. Maybe 10 grams of fiber at a meal. It might not happen every time, but it's a good goal. 30 grams of protein at a meal, 10 grams of fiber. Protein and fiber at every meal and snack. This is not about perfection. It's about, am I thinking about it? Do I think this meal might be lacking in some fiber? Should I add some more fiber and more protein to this meal? Probably. Am I gonna do it? That's up to you. Sometimes you might not. But if you're trying to the majority of the time, you're gonna feel better. You're gonna feel more stabilized and you're gonna have more stamina throughout the day. You're gonna have less brain fog and more energy overall to get the tasks done that you need to get done. If you've ever been protein deficient, you might not know, but once you realize you're protein deficient, you're like, holy crap, I needed a lot more protein and I feel so much better. I feel horrible when I don't eat enough protein. Horrible. And then tap on the fiber to it. There's nothing that makes me more happy than someone letting me know that they eat fiber now and they feel so amazing. Because I do feel like people focus on protein so much, so maybe that's gonna be a little easier for you to reach, but not a lot of people are focusing on fiber. So to actually start making sure you're hitting your protein goals and your fiber goals, it's so awesome and you really do start to understand things a lot better. Anyway, I saw a woman in the grocery store the other day, and this has happened before where I see people having a hard time making decisions in the grocery store, and I'm like, I guarantee I can answer their question. I don't want to overstep or make them uncomfortable or help someone that doesn't want to be helped. But I also know that if I was struggling with something, I would want help. So I walked away, but she was looking at all the breads and looking stressed, and I was looking at the breads just to watch her look at the breads. I didn't know what to do. And I went to the other aisle. I end up in the freezer aisle. She's there again, looking confused. So I said, Gabrielle, just say something. Because I was like, I'm gonna leave and then I'm gonna end up on my Instagram story being like, I almost helped a lady in the grocery store and that's just gonna be a terrible story. I don't even want to share it. And I just know I will feel so much better with my day if I help her. Anyway, so I said, hello, hi. This might be a little weird, but I noticed you in the aisles looking a little confused at some of the food products, and I'm a dietitian, and before I even could say, can I help you? She said, can you help me? And I was so happy, like, yes, I can help you. What are you trying to work on? She jumped right into it to saying, is this bread good? Is this sauce good? Is this good? And I was like, well, what is your goal? She said weight loss, which I think is a lot of people's goal. Weight loss, eating healthier, stabilizing your blood sugars. No matter what your goal is, the rule of focusing on protein and fiber is going to apply to you. So she ended up saying she was trying to lose weight. I was like, okay, what do you have questions on? She showed me a bread. She's like, is this an okay bread? It was from Jewel Osco. It was a keto bread and it was 8 grams of fiber, 5 grams of protein, and I was so impressed. Amazing. I said, keep it. The sauce, when it comes to sauces can hide a lot of sugar, especially salad dressings or other dressings. They can hide a lot of sugar, a lot of sodium, a lot of fat, and put on calories that you don't realize you're consuming. So a lot of times when people are having trouble losing weight, you really do want to focus on all the calories and calories that come from oils. And I'm getting a little off track right now, but you want to understand that fats have more calories than protein. So if you're doing something like olive oil or an avocado, there's a reason why it's higher in calories, and that doesn't mean it's bad for you. It just means it's a higher fat food. So anyway, she picked out a good dressing. And then I was like, okay, what else do you need help with? She had grabbed this frozen rice, broccoli, cheddar mixture, and she was like, should I not have this? Is this bad for me? Should I get broccoli instead? And that immediately just turned a light bulb on in my head, because this is why I love working with people so much and helping them with these things, because it's not just me telling you what to eat and what not to eat. It can be very collaborative, especially when you start to learn a little more. So her saying that made me think, no, You don't need to replace the broccoli cheddar rice mixture with broccoli. You want to add the broccoli to the rice cheddar broccoli mixture. Because first of all, I've never worked with you before. I don't know anything about your health. I don't know anything about your financial status, your culture. I don't know anything about you. Why would I tell you not to eat something? Because that is shitty work. That is not helpful for anyone. There's nothing I hate more than hearing someone say you can't eat something, because you're unrealistic, you're uneducated, and you're actually making people's lives 10 times harder. And you might think you're helping people, but you're not. If you're unqualified to talk about nutrition, I honestly get so heated about it, because I'm like, you didn't study psychology, sociology, quite literally anything to tell someone they can't eat something. Do you understand anyone's culture to tell someone they can't eat something? For example, you can't just tell someone they can't eat pasta or tortillas or rice or bread, because that's completely ignoring someone's cultures, their traditions, and actually what they love to eat. You're just gonna make their life miserable and sound ignorant and rude. So anyway, good nutrition should meet people where they're at, and that's why I think for anyone, no matter what your culture is, a really good starting point is focusing on fiber and protein, because it turns off the mindset of what can I not eat and turns on the mindset of what can I add to this meal that I like to make it more nutritious. So something that I do is, I'm Italian, so I'm going to eat pasta and meatballs and sauce and all of the things. I've learned that I feel better if I get more protein, so I make sure to have meatballs or add chicken or something like that to that meal. I also make sure to find fiber somewhere. Maybe it's a side salad. Maybe it's when I'm home by myself, I just buy pasta that has extra fiber in it or extra protein in it, because I know it makes me feel better. So I adjust the foods that I love to make things easier for myself. And that's exactly what I do with other people, because that makes sense and it helps you learn. So back to the rice, broccoli, and cheddar mixture. She had the rice, broccoli, and cheddar mixture at the grocery store, and she was like, should I put it back and get broccoli instead? And I said, no. Again, I don't know anything about you. I don't know anything, whatever. I don't want to tell you no, and you come back to the grocery store in a week and be like, F it. I am just getting this mixture because I love it. It's something I eat every week. I don't know you. I don't want to make you feel deprived, and I want to educate you. Because if you only listen to the people that tell you no, you're not learning anything, and it's not helping you. So I said, no, but that's a good idea. Instead of getting rid of the rice, broccoli, and cheddar mixture and doing broccoli instead, how about you add broccoli to it? Because that's gonna give you more fiber. And the other thing we need to think about is maybe we should add more protein to it. And she's like, well, I got chicken. And I'm like, perfect. Were there things that I could have continued on with? I could have gone into fats, I could have gone into sodium, I could have gone into so many things. Probably. But if I had to think of two things that can make you so much healthier and feel so much better and start to understand nutrition, it's fiber and protein. Starting to understand fiber and protein is such a good entry point into eating healthier, because it's automatically going to make you label read more and start understanding where different nutrients are coming from. And again, protein might be a little easier for some people, and fiber is harder because people don't get enough fiber. So I always talk about how to get extra fiber in, but they're just two things that can really balance things out for you and balance out a meal so you feel better. You don't have to remove the foods that you love in order to be healthier. That's a terrible mindset, and it's just not going to make things better for you in the long run, because when you do things like that, you end up restricting things. And yeah, for a while you might be okay restricting it, but if it's really something you like and you start restricting it, and then you start restricting something else and something else and something else and something else, you go crazy. You get fed up and you end up falling off of healthy eating. So there's been a lot of bashing on the whole everything in moderation term, and it's so annoying because I get it. I get people that want to eat primarily clean, very minimal ingredients. That's totally fine. But to say everything in moderation is a gateway into unhealthy eating is stupid, because what's a gateway into unhealthy eating is restricting yourself so much that you all of a sudden are craving things that you never even liked, because your mind can be a lot stronger than your body, and your mind is telling you, I'm restricting, and nothing makes you want to do something more than restricting yourself. That's a whole other conversation, and I'm not saying if you took out a bunch of foods and you feel so amazing and you're eating so healthy that you have an unhealthy relationship with food or anything like that, but it's a pretty crappy mindset to be in, and everything in moderation doesn't mean go crazy and eat a bunch of unhealthy food. It just means if you decide to get a cookie that's not filled with a bunch of protein or cottage cheese or fiber, it'll be okay. You'll wake up the next day and be just fine. So anyway, here are some high fiber and high protein foods that you can add to your meals to make them a little more balanced. High protein, obviously anything animal-based, so chicken, steak, fish, pork, eggs, tuna, shrimp. Plant-based would be tofu, lentils, edamame, beans, cottage cheese, and Greek yogurt are really high in protein. Protein powder, obviously. And then some things that are high in fiber. Raspberries, you get 8 grams of fiber per 1 cup. Avocado, you get about 5 grams of fiber per half an avocado. Chia seeds, you get about 4 grams of fiber per 1 tablespoon. Black beans, you're getting like 7 grams of fiber per half a cup and 6 to 7 grams of protein. So that's a double one. Oats, you get 4 grams of fiber per serving. Broccoli is really high in fiber. Brussels sprouts, potatoes, pears. What's high in protein and fiber? Edamame, my favorite. If I had to pick one food that is just awesome because it's high in the 2 things that I'm telling you to focus on, edamame, high in fiber, high in protein. Lentils, high in fiber, high in protein. Nuts and seeds are also really high in fiber and moderately high in protein. So always trying to add more nutritious foods to your meal is going to help you in the long run. An easy rule of thumb for fiber is anything that's a fruit, a vegetable, a nut or a seed, a bean or a legume, or whole grain. You want to read the label on the whole grain, but some crackers, some chips, some tortillas, some rice, some quinoa, some pastas are going to have extra fiber in it. So that's what I mean here. Adding those things to your meal can increase the fiber content and also increase the different antioxidants and polyphenols and vitamins and minerals, because every single color of every single food, like fruits and vegetables and beans and legumes and nuts and seeds, are giving you different nutrients. So you're feeling more satisfied overall. Plus there's things in fiber that physiologically are going to help you feel more satisfied and full, along with protein, but that's discussed in a lot of my other videos and I can talk about it more. But yeah, just add protein and fiber. That's just the best way to start eating healthier. And if you are someone that feels super overwhelmed and stressed about how to eat healthier, I would love for you to subscribe, because there's nothing I love more than helping people not be anxious and overwhelmed about nutrition and not be in the grocery store aisle for hours. Bye.